Sorry, everyone. I was watching Paula Abdul's stunning opening tap dance sequence from the legendary Straight Up video. It's got to get it out of my system sometimes. What's up, guys? How was your week? I almost wanted to fall over in a porta potty. It's like, you know, when you knock over a gumball machine at the mall and 300 gumballs go and 3 people trip on them. Yeah, I did that once. So, in an attempt to organize my thoughts, because...
So sorry, can I cut real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, I haven't. What did I do?
No, it's not you.
Let's hit the reset button. But I can talk, right? I can talk. We're not going to waste time. So yeah, I got this little, it reminded me of a long time ago. Back in the day, I'm thinking, because we're still friendly, I'm thinking about having her on the show, but a former agent of mine, talent agent, who was always tremendous, but I was a little bit crazier than I am now, and I would love to go back and look at me starting out with my rep at the time, because I was kind of cool for a minute. Then, you know, my head exploded, and now we're here talking to myself. Actually, the homeless guy out there said, "Watch it!" So I'm not totally alone. But yeah, this tape recorder just triggered like so many things about how tape recorders just flow through my life, and it made me think of my former agent. It made me think of my former love and current love, Paula Abdul, whose tap dancing I do watch late at night when I'm alone, which is every night. So my older brother, we're super close now, but growing up, I just kind of did my own thing. He did his own thing, but he was like the older brother, and I was always a little bit behind on what was cool, because my older brother liked, you know, blah, and he liked that. And Paula Abdul, you know, it was that puberty time, and my brother was like, Paula Abdul, yeah. So it was like, I have to like Paula Abdul, and I rabbit hole. I love rabbit holes because they're the smallest and tightest and deepest of holes. So I rabbit holed Paula so hard. And there was no internet back then. There was no fucking cell phones and shit. So this was actual research. I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old. I got my teachers involved. Mr. Whitmer, who was my hero. He was actually my 4th grade teacher, and then my 6th grade teacher, because I was like, I don't want to meet someone else. I don't want to share my problems with anyone else. And I would go before school, because I was an insomniac and roamed the streets at 4 a.m. And he would get to the school to set up class and stuff at like 6 a.m. And I would be there waiting. I'm like, Mr. Whitmer, I have a new VHS tape with Paula Abdul. Because I would sit around and just record MTV for hours. And in fact, I have those VHS tapes still. One of them says My Lover. One says Best of Paula Volume 1 through 9. I don't know, I guess there's 9 volumes on one VHS tape. I should bust those out. But yeah, I would go and I would talk to my teachers about, wow, what a unique blend of commercial pop, but old school Broadway. You know, because she was she loved Gene Kelly, and I love Gene Kelly. And so I felt this bond with this rising big pop star who came out of nowhere. I mean, I have friends now. I'm in my 60s, so a lot of my friends are mostly younger than me, and some of them only know her from like American Idol. They didn't feel the impact. She was bigger than Madonna, Janet, Mariah, all of them combined, but only for a little bit. And then she ran away from me. They all do. I would walk to school and from school, and I would go. So I would go to like Albertsons, and I had this kind of time. I would go and I would go through the store, and I would just take magazines. I'm like, oh, People, Tiger Beat, Us Weekly, USA Today. And I would go through every newspaper, every magazine. And I would go through, and if there was like, it was like, Paula Abdul was seen buying tuna today. I would tear out just that corner of the page and like put it in my bra, and I would take just the pages of Paula, like Bop and like Bop and Beam Bop and all those magazines, Teen Beat, Training Bra Weekly, and I would plaster my walls. Like if anybody goes to Floyd's Barbershop, what's up? getting long here. My walls were like the Floyd's barbershop wall. There was no white space. I would blueprint using my knowledge of roller coaster design, perfectly framed, like even a tiny rabbit hole sized hole in the wall. I would be like, well, there's that picture of Paula waving from the balcony at our hotel, and I could fit it in like right there. And my whole wall just, and I was a walking encyclopedia. I was a finalist for naming her tour. She went on this big world tour, and it was like, you can win a ticket to see Paula Abdul's big tour if you name it. And I still to this day, and Heather backs me up here, her big album, Forever Girl, one of the biggest selling albums of all time. First artist to have 4 #1 consecutive singles off their debut album. Yeah, give her some fucking credit, guys. We all pop pills sometimes. You try working with Simon Cowell and not taking pain pills. No, she broke her neck. Leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. I remember walking home one day and a guy because again, there was this kid who just sits Indian style. You can't say that anymore, Scott. Someone got mad at me for saying Indian style the other day. I was like, fuck you. I'm the biggest libtard on the planet, and I'm going to say Indian style. And I wear a headdress when I do it too. This guy's following me, and I remember the route I would take. It was down Ridge Route, actually, and near Lynn's. This guy's following me, and I was like, 12, and he finally, right in front of the 7-Eleven, he's like, you! And he turned me around, and he's like, I know you're stealing. You never buy anything. You just sit on the floor with piles of magazines, and then you leave with nothing. So I was like, you leave me alone. You leave me alone, sir. And then 92,000 tear-outs of just Paula Abdul's face flutter to my feet, and he's like, you're stealing. You're in a lot of trouble, young man. This is expensive. You only steal the Paula Abdul pages and nothing else? I was like, yeah. He's like, he just put his hands up and left me. And then I was left like a little, raccoon trying to get water in the creek in the morning with making sure no one steals my Paula clippings. There was a reality show called Rock the House. After her prime, this was like 95 or somewhere in there. It was a show where it was on VH1, and it was a show where pop music's biggest fans get surprised by getting their house remodeled by their favorite superstar. And I grew up very poor. My mom was a single mom. I was a little cat lady as a kid because we was po. We couldn't have dogs. I didn't live in a house. And my friends and my mom teamed up behind my back and submitted me for Rock the House, and guess who was selected to have his favorite superstar redecorate his home? It was me. Paula Abdul was going to come and redecorate my bedroom, and I got so fucking mad. And they're like, you what do you mean? Do you know how many people applied? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, you guys, you need to think before you make these big decisions, okay? She's allergic to cats, and I will not be responsible for Paula Abdul dying in my bedroom because you didn't do the research. And I declined the offer. I didn't want her to get sick. And they were mad at me, and I was like, what? First of all, and I saw the episode later, and it was all like purple flowers and, ballerina shit. I'm not even that girly. Give me a break. When I went to I didn't even finish the tour thing, so I came in like a finalist, right? So her big album, Forever Your Girl, her follow-up album, Spellbound, also debuted at #1. I thought, if you're going to take a tour on the road, no one ever listens to me, by the way. Disneyland didn't consult me about changing Fantasmic, the Tiana's Bayou Adventure redo, I approved. You should have come to me first. People will start listening to me now that I have this big platform. And you guys, you should see the fucking crowd outside the window when I got here. 2 bras thrown at me. Fame is not all it's cut out to be. Paula knows. That's why she disappeared. The Forever Spellbound tour was my suggestion, but Paula, she went with Under My Spell tour. The Under My Spell tour, and boy, was I. And I would go, like, department stores would have these contests. It's like, get free Paula Abdul under my... I would go, and I'm like, hi, at Macy's, or like the Broadway was a department store when I was a kid. And I would go, I'm like, hi, I'm interested in buying some suits. Do you have any suits? and very nice shoes. I'm very wealthy in the market for some shoes, expensive clothes. I'm 12. And then when she's like, well, let me look at our merchandise. I took all the submission forms to register for Paula Abdul tickets and ran out. And I filled them all out myself to guarantee that I would win. And I didn't. You know who won the fucking ticket contest? Heather. Fucking Heather did. I guess that's why you shouldn't cheat and lie. I bought 2 tickets. And I didn't consider the fact that I had no transportation. I was 11 or 12. And so I had a friend, my old babysitter as a kid, her aunt, would take us to shows. They were Puerto Rican. Can you say that these days? Ooh. That's when I first started seeing No Doubt, because they were in Santa Ana. No Doubt was playing at Anaheim, so I got to see No Doubt really early. And I knew that she loved music, so I'm like, hi, I have 2 Paula Abdul tickets, but no ride. I'm like brokering deals. I don't even have pubic hair. I'm like, you wanna sit in section E7, row U, seats 9 and 10? You're gonna have to drive me. And it worked. And I had flowers. It was, the encore was Forever Your Girl. And I remember, forever. And again, my mom always said this about me. You always jump in the pool without checking for water first. It's like I forget there are 22 other letters in the alphabet. I just go, me, now. I don't understand. So I just went on stage. I just walked on stage during the closing number of this huge world tour with the flowers and was gently tackled. I was a child. But I don't know how I got on stage. Why was no one giving Paula the security she deserves? So that was another fateful meeting with Paula, my love, my life, my first masturbatory experience. Definitely not the last. I jerked off in the hallway when I got here. That's why the tap dancing was on. So years later, I'm working at AT&T. We've talked about this. Half my time was spent people coming into the store going, hi, I'm drunk. I dropped my phone and a beer. And this lovely gal came into the store and she's like, yeah, I lost my phone. It was St. Patrick's Day. So I'm like, okay. I remember it was a Samsung A707. Man, I have a fucking bizarre memory. Red. And I looked at her account and it was like, employee of Fox, 20th Century Fox. So I'm like, oh, you know. Sorry, I have to jerk off. Anyway, so she's like, oh yeah, I work on American Idol. And I was like, Paula? She's like, yeah, I'm the audience coordinator. I go, what does that mean? She's like, well, I'm the one that fills the audience and shit. And I'm like, you know, back to my deal brokering days. It's always with Paula. I only become like a hey, psst, you want some stuff, some steel, some grass, some green? You want some, I don't know, street drug names. And I'm like, you know, meet me in the back alley. I have a proposal for you. So a friend of mine, I will not name names. We're not friends anymore. I was like, I have to figure something out. He was the stock boy, right? I was the sales guy and he was the stock guy. I'm like, my ticket, my every time I try to meet Paula Abdul, I'm foiled again. I just want to tie her to the tracks with a mustache and go foiled again. And he's like, how about I figure out a way that the phone doesn't cost her any money in exchange for going to American Idol. Well, that's what happened. So I took my old boss, who was my manager at CPK and kind of became my big brother and friends and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go to American Idol and I get to meet Paula Abdul. Do you want to come with me? He's like, fuck yeah, you know. I went and I bought flowers for her. Mike drove and we go to, you know, studio and sitting right next to the left. Simon's there and I'm sitting there and I have my flowers, you know, and I smell some like essential oils and like chamomile, maybe like a little patchouli, a little bit of musk, and then some of her own natural French, Canadian, Syrian, Brazilian, Jewish background. Oh man, she should have been scared of me. And I'm there and she just goes, Scott? And I look and it's her and I just go, huh? I give her the flower. I'm not that awkward. I've met famous people. I'm not awkward. She's like, oh my God, are these for me? Gave her the flowers. She hugged me. I remember vividly just the herbal essences radiation of just aromas from her perfect mane of beautiful hair. And that was that. A little quick hug. Fast forward 5 years. I'm working at a prominent acting studio with a very prominent acting coach. And I would coach, and I get this call. They're like, hey, have a client, kind of a big name. They would like to do it at their house instead of driving out from the valley. Can you come to meet this client? Yeah. Client, Paula Abdul. I was like, oh, what's happening? So it's like, I'm going to go to Paula Abdul's fucking house? I can't. But I have to. Now, you have to keep in mind that I had to keep a poker face, right? Because I can't tell my boss who is going, I'm just kind of the assistant acting coach, if you will. I can't be like, yeah, I got tackled on stage and I'm tired of being interfered with. So I just had to be like, okay, it's just another client. It's just another actress, whatever. Really kept my cool. I washed that car for hours by hand. I don't know why. Maybe we'd end up in the back seat for some reason. There's lots of reasons that could happen. Maybe she tripped and hurt her ankle tap dancing, and I have to carry her 5'1.5" little frame in my arms, in my bosom, and protect her like those security guards on the Under My Spell tour did not. I'm gonna go back to this tape recorder bit. So I was trying to write a lot. I wrote a one-man show that got some attention. I started booking and testing for stuff. And so we were working together on some stuff to write. And that's when my agent, she's like, you're a lot. You're a little too scatterbrained. You need to organize your thoughts because you're never gonna remember. And she bought me this tape recorder, a little handheld tape recorder. She's like, just have this with you at all times. Because you'll forget these great ideas you come up with. That's how I got fucked on the light bulb. If I just remembered a week earlier, Edison never would have beaten me. Sick of it. Yeah, I never used it. I don't listen to people. I think I can do it all myself and I don't need help and I am the hero at all times and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's probably how all those moneymaker ideas I had were never realized because I never even opened that tape recorder. And it was so like, I just remember as soon as I bought this thing, I go, God, finally, I should tell Belle. Remember when you got me that tape recorder back in the day and I never listened to you? I should have because, well, I had to grow up first. I get to Paula's house, and that's years like after the tape recorder thing with my agent. I go to Paula's house, I was all, I got a Brazilian, I waxed everywhere, I cleaned that fucking car. I found the tape recorder in the trunk and I was like, oh my God, I still have this fucking tape recorder. So I'm like, I wish I remembered sooner. I wish I took advantage of it. It was just such a stupid thing. So I got there a little early. And yeah, I peeked through the bedroom windows. What else am I going to do? Just sit alone in my car? And I was just sitting in the car, and I don't know if you guys know this, but like there was an obsessed fan that during American Idol committed suicide in her car at Paula's house. She even like changed her name to Paula. And so I'm sitting in my car all ready for, the wedding proposal. And I'm like, oh my God, what if she's looking down and she sees some other weirdo parked in his car in front of the house? I was like, I don't want her to think I'm going to kill myself. I am an obsessed fan, but I would never do that. So I don't know if there's cameras or security footage. Paula, if you're watching, check your cameras that day. So I just put my car in reverse really slowly. And I for about 9 minutes, just really gradually, again, this is all to protect Paula. That's all I've been trying to do my whole life. So some people are watching, someone watering their grass sees a really beat up Corolla with the headlights held together with packing tape and like a garbage bag for the back window because I had no insurance, because I had no money. Oh, look where we are again. Finally, my boss gets there. We go in the house. The gate opens. All these dogs run out. Who knows the dog's name? I do. I'm like, there's Tinkerbell. Oh, there's an unmarked generic dog. I have no idea your dog's names. Petunia. Her nephew came out, and I knew the nephew's name, and I was like, I gotta just keep my wisdom to myself because clearly Paula can't know. I'm harmless. I really do just want to say, hey, I think you're really talented and you really fucking played the industry game and made a great career. And I watch you tap dance when I'm lonely. So we go inside. You can see the Emmys, the Grammys, you know, the house, whatever. There's like 5 assistants she has. And I remember just sitting there going, okay, I can hear her coming down the stairs. She's always wearing like huge heels because she's 5'1.5". She wants to look tall. So I can hear no, that sounds like she's bearing a body. It was just kind of like heels coming down the stairs. And I just was like, okay, this is it. Like, just, you're here, you're going to coach her, and she's going to become a huge sitcom star because of you now. And then I'm sitting here. My boss is on the other couch here. And to my right, I'm about to look up at her, you know, and right then she goes, is this him? Like referring to me. And right there, I immediately went back to the hair smelling incident at American Idol all those years before. I'm like, what if she remembers me? I'm so unique. Obviously she remembers me. AKA she got a restraining order. I was like, I can't sit up. She's gonna remember. She's gonna remember I'm the guy that lingered a little bit when the hair came into my nose. And that's when she goes, is that him? I'm like, she remembers me. My boss is going to fire me. I'm going to be accused of being a stalker. And so I look up and I'm like, she's like, I think he's okay. Come here. And so I fainted and she had smelling salts, luckily, and woke me up. And then my boss had no clue who the fuck this woman was. None. She's like, okay, so she takes out her notepad. She's like, all right, so you're on that American singing, is that? And she's like, yeah, American Idol, like the biggest show in the world at the time, you know? And she's like, okay, and you used to, didn't you dance or sing? And I'm like, didn't you? Grant, I was like, oh no, I'm starting to blow my cover. And Paula Abdul just starts going through her life story because my boss knows nothing about her. And so sometimes I was like narrating along in my head and she's like, so then James L. Brooks hired me. I'm like, for your first Emmy for the Tracy Ullman Show. Yeah, that was a tribute to Bob Fosse. Go through her whole life. Turns out they have all these industry friends in common, blah, blah, blah. So finally it's like, let's get to work. So we go into the kitchen. I remember it was for a new show at the time called Drop Dead Diva. It was about like a skinny lawyer and she wakes up fat. And then it's like living through, kind of like when Tyra Banks did that thing and she put on the fat suit to act like she was one of the common people. And Paula was playing a spoofy version of herself, a judge, in this fantasy courtroom sequence, you know, because Paula was a judge in American Idol. Get it? That's called comedy writing. So we're working the scene, we're finding the jokes, Had a really fun time. I remember one line she kept struggling with was monochromatic microfiber. I'm like, microfiber, Paula, you mean to tell me you can do a quadruple pirouette and just stop on a dime, but you can't remember monochromatic microfiber? Girl.
So they were torturing you with that line, right? They purposely stuck that in there?
Monochromatic microfiber.
But you have this polyester thing you're wearing, right?
Well, mine's monochromatic microfiber, but I did something with it, you know? I made it very Paula-ish.
And then she gave me another hug. And then she goes she's like, would you like some lemonade? I don't do impressions. But she's like, would you like some lemonade? So we go into the kitchen. And there's a gazebo. We go into the gazebo. She gets this like water thing with like a pitcher, very fancy. And she has these cubes and she's like breaking them. And then she gets lemons from her lemon tree and slices fresh lemons for me to make me hand squeeze fresh lemonade with real sugar in her own house. Wow, I'm glad I didn't let her come into my cat pee house because that, you know, this is much better. So she makes me the fresh squeezed lemonade. We're talking about like, she's like, oh my gosh. At this point, I'd been at her house for hours. I think we got there about 10:30 a.m. At this point, it was like 4. I remember I had a non-flirty movie date with Jocelyn, my personal assistant. And I was like, it's getting late. I have to go to the movies with Jocelyn at 6 o'clock, but I'm fresh squeezed lemonade, childhood love, or my black friend. Yeah, we're going with Paula. Sorry. And she told us that day she was going to quit Idol. She was quitting Idol. And my head exploded. And she's like, yeah, you know, Ryan Seacrest. That's Ryan Seacrest, everyone. Sorry. I don't call my friends by their last names. It's not polite. He got like this $15 million deal, and I think she was getting like 3. And she's like, fuck it. Like, they're not, you know. And we were like, well, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to walk away from American Idol? I did, because I didn't like the clothes they were giving me. They always, look, when you're a celebrity, what happens is, and I'm going to blow the roof off this shit, okay? The stylists come and they're like, and this, and they're always trying to, for me at least, they're always dressing me down. They're like, Scott, you dress too well. You look too good. America needs to bond with you. And they would just try to shift my image so much that I quit the show. And so when she told me she was quitting the show, I thought it would be helpful to give her some exit strategies. I mean, my career is doing much better than hers. And then she was going to go fly to Atlanta. Yep. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. She had to go to fly to Atlanta. And I remember my boss saying, you need to learn your lines on the plane. Do you have a tape recorder? And she's like, assistants. So her 5 assistants flock in. She's like, can you go to a Best Buy or somewhere where they have tape recorders? And her assistant comes back. She goes, oh, Paula, they close at 5. And I just go, I was cleaning out my car this morning and I found a tape recorder that my old agent gave me 15 years ago that I never used, and it's unopened. You can borrow mine. Do you want me to get it? It's in my car. I parked on the street. I'll get it. And I run to my car in the street. Her dogs chase me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called Jocelyn. I'm like, Jocelyn, I can't go to the movies. I'm with Paula Abdul and she's going to borrow my tape recorder.
Monochromatic microfiber.
So I go back to the house. I'm like, here you go. Here you go. And I'm like sweating because I'm so fat. And I go, here's my tape recorder. And she's like, can you... with her little hand, her head, you guys, her whole head is like this big. And so she, with her perfect nails, her perfect little nails, she couldn't open that plastic, you know, that thick, like government plastic when you buy batteries, you know, you need scissors to open them. What if you're buying scissors for the first time and you don't have scissors? No one listens to me. So I was like, can I go to the kitchen pee? And I opened a drawer and I found a little, the recorder was not charged. It had been sitting in my trunk for years. But so she was like, I really had so much fun. You're so funny. You're just so funny. She wasn't talking to me. And she was like, I'm going to sign up for class. And she's like, what class are you in? I want to be in your class with you. Again, she wasn't talking to me. She says to me when we go to leave, I'll give this back to you. See you in class. She never signed up for class. She never gave me my tape recorder. I don't have my tape recorder. Paula Abdul has my tape recorder. And that was years ago. So I had to go buy another one. So this is finally me getting over you, Paula. I don't move on easy. But after this backstabbing of yours, no, she can keep my tape recorder all she wants. And I hope she whispered sweet nothings about me. So when she was like, I'm going to quit American Idol, we're like, well, what are you going to do? And she goes, I want to write like a biography, like a biography show. I'd never heard of it because I don't know who this Liza something or other. She's like, I want to do like Liza Minnelli had a show. My name is L or Z or something. I'm very cultured. And she's like, yeah, it's kind of like a biography fueled musical review of my life. And that's the show she did in Vegas called Forever Your Girl, very appropriately. And it was great. It was at the Flamingo where the Rat Pack used to play. So I had kind of that showy Vegas kind of thing. It was great, and she was great. But I was asking my friends, because you could buy those like meet and greet packages, you know? And I'm like, you guys, should I do the meet and greet? Should I go, we've met. You don't remember the lemonade, do you? I do. Where's my tape recorder? But wouldn't that be funny? Like if Paula, look, and I do have a dream of like having her come on the show and talking to her in the real way that I would like to. It'd be like, please tell me, like, I want her to teach me the time step. Fuck off. I know the time step. Maybe the double time step. It's time to grow. It's time to step it up, Borden. Should I remember when like everybody did a petition to get Betty White on SNL? Should we get Paula Abdul on the Lovable Lunatic? And then we could do like a little skit, like where I meet her in the hallway and she slaps me or something. I think that would be fun, but it was weird that I couldn't talk to her the way I wanted to. So we'll see. But I do want to meet her and just be like let's say I'm at Chipotle, you know, and I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm above average. I'll have a bowl, double rice, light black beans, barbacoa, double mild, hot, cheese, lettuce, and can I have a side cup of extra cilantro? Oh my gosh, Paula Abdul, you eat here? Where's my tape recorder? And she would have no idea what if she was like, I've been looking for you this whole time. What if she went like, what if at the Chipotle, she's like, I'll have only lettuce and only tomatoes because I'm a dancer. And then she's like, I have a tape recorder in my car. I never opened it. Oh my God, what if Paula Abdul came back to me with this thing? Someone gave me this tape recorder. I didn't care enough to open it. It would be like karma. It would be if Paula Abdul came back to me and was like, I do remember you. That piece of shit tape recorder, I threw it away. What if that were the case? That changes everything. This has taken a dark turn. I should call for some help. 911. Hey girl, it's Borden. Borden. Yeah, that one. You're such a tease. I had another mental breakdown over the weekend, but I'm fine. No, I think I'm good. Any cool murders tonight or anything? Or no, I'm good. I'm just talking about Paula and the tape recorder thing, and I was just saying that I needed help, and so I thought I'd clog up the hotline again. All right, you too, boo. Stop it. People can hear. All right, bye. I love you too. I call 911 for help a lot. They know I'm not serious. Here's another dream. Get Paula Abdul on the Lovable Lunatic podcast so we can finally have the meeting that fate has been wanting us to have. What if I bump into her like outside? That would be like a rom-com. I walk out with my stupid props and I'm like, and then she's like, is this your phone, you stupid boy? Oh, you're my old fan. You guys, we need to talk about this fucking Diddy thing. I was thinking about some of the stuff they're saying. So he would film these rapes and parties and stuff, and then jerk off to himself jerking off watching. And look, I love jerking off. Hello, who doesn't? It's the only exercise I get. And I know people tape themselves fucking, which is, I don't know. To me, that would be a nightmare. I shower fully clothed in the dark. I would never want to see that. But I imagine other people that are like better looking or more comfortable with their flexibility or their Kama Sutra research, that they probably watch themselves back for like, I don't know. Do you watch yourselves fuck? Nobody admits it. Maybe people like critique themselves, you know? Like watching it back. Higher next time. So close. Right there. Next time, closer. That's some ego there. But then when it's like watching yourself masturbate, like masturbating to yourself, masturbating is hot. That is some ego. That is power. I bet Oprah does that. There was this other fucking murder in Vegas that I rabbit holed over the weekend. Did you guys hear about this Robert Tellis guy? He was this local politician in Vegas, and he was having an affair with a woman in the office, and the other coworkers leaked it to this investigative journalist that lived in Vegas, and he handled mostly stories about the mob, right? The mob and like gangsters and mafias and corrupt leaders and things like that. And they went to this local journalist. He goes, this new guy he wants to be mayor, and he's climbing his way up, and he's super corrupt, and he's having an affair. And so they started filming them fucking in the parking garage, like across the street from the Flamingo in Vegas, where Paula Abdul's Forever Your Girl residency took place. Yeah! And I did not go backstage. I'm not going to pay to meet her. Fucking hand squeeze lemonade. Pay for backstage passes, please. And the guy dressed up as a Vegas agricultural construction worker and stabbed the guy to death, like in his driveway at 10 a.m. in broad daylight, and to not have the story leaked that he was having an affair. And the guy, just total Trump, total OJ, total Jodi Arias, these sociopaths who will never admit wrongdoing. It's like Jada. Oh my God, Jada. These people just will not admit. So I watched the whole trial, and he was convicted, but it's like this really crazy, juicy story about like local politician with big national dreams dresses up as construction guy. And the thing that's crazy about it too is you can't do these things because everything is tracked now. Everything we do is tracked as long as they're not turned off. So they have him like from his house putting on the outfit through the whole neighborhood. You see him put on the costume. You see the thing and whatever, and the reporter knew what was happening, and you can see it too. And the reporter like made sure to like scratch him in the back to like get DNA under the nails, and the guy goes, they're like, what about the DNA under his nails? He's like, I'm not saying it's not mine. I'm saying I was framed. I was framed. My DNA was under someone's fingernails. God, people shouldn't kill people. They should respect their talents, promote their careers, buy flowers at the grocery store, be such white trash that you don't even take the sticker off, the cheap plastic wrapped around. Mike, when we went to American Idol, when like she was about to come out, he's like, you didn't even take the fucking price tag off? No, I don't want to show off my wealth. You think these Silicon Valley tech bros, they dress homeless to throw you off the scent? Same here. That reminds me of, I went to the Soho House for the first time a few years back in New York, and I just don't care about anything. Like nothing impresses me except Paula Abdul's tap dancing and murders and Diddy's fucking confidence. Yeah, I'm so hot. Look how hot I am. Look how hot I am jerking off. That's so hot. I'm so hot. I'm so hot. Bad boys, bad boys. Remember the tail feather? Was that him? Shake a tail feather, bump, bump, chicken, bump, Nelly, bad boys, who? The soundtrack. Let's go. Who now? Who your name is? Where you from? Turn around, who you came with? Is that your ass or your mama have a reindeer? What was I talking about? Like the trial. Somehow I went into. This is why. That's why I shouldn't have turned off my tape recorder. Oh yeah, he was telling me like, take the price tag off the flowers, you piece of shit. Well, Mike, she didn't make hand squeeze lemonade for you, did she? She made it for me. Maybe I throw people off the scent on purpose so they like me. So actually, we did talk about in episode 1 how we have these versions of ourselves that kind of like take lives of their own and don't go away. And I kind of realized over the weekend that there's maybe some people that talk to me a certain way, and I don't like it anymore. Like I got mad, like to the point where I have to like get up and leave the room. Cause like now, if I don't get up and leave the room, I stew, and then I build resentment and yeah, I thought, you know what though, this is my own fault. Cause like, yeah, people talk to me like I'm 5 and people, tell me to this and that. And it's like, you know what? That's because that's what I've been, right? People will believe what you sell them. And something part of this whole show is like, man, I don't know what to be. I don't know what the podcast would be. What the hell would I talk about? And so I thought, just do it and go with it and be your weird self and be all of you, because there are people that still rely on me being the dumb shit and pretending not to be rich by leaving the price tag on the flowers from Ralph's. By the way, I manufactured that price tag in my large factory, my multinational corporation. You think I have an iPad because I'm not wealthy? Please. Anyway, so the lesson there is you got to be careful what you let people think about you, because then they will buy into it. But that's why you have like images, right? And you have people who are like, I mean, talk about image. Britney. See, so when Paula faded, I needed another gravity-defying pop star who lip syncs, and Britney. And Britney took over for Paula. And she gave us a lot more stuff than we brokered on with the Britney. We haven't even gotten to Britney yet. My God. I even went to that hair salon to see if there was still hair on the floor. That's half a joke. I did go to the haircut place where Britney cut her hair, just because, again, I'm like, what was Britney Spears doing on Ventura Boulevard in Encino? Like, what was she doing by the Chili's there? She was probably eating at Chili's. Hey, Britney, chicken crispers, done. Chicken tortilla soup, done. They used to have the best chicken fried steak with the best black pepper gravy and this really good garlic herb butter toast. They got rid of it, of course. The one thing that makes Scott happy. Cut it off the menu, guys. Put another fucking mac and cheese on there. New mac and cheese with hot sauce on it. That's not a new item, guys. Everyone fucks me. Yeah, so I went to that haircut place. I was like, and I remember too, the Britney thing, when she shaved her head, I was the only person who didn't care. I was like, who cares? But it's a woman, Scott. A woman with no hair? It's crazy, I say. But she's Britney Spears. I'm like, you think she walks around looking like that? You think she walks around with a snake around her fucking shoulders? No. She has pimples and fucking burps. And then you put her behind the smoke and mirrors like this. If you guys saw me off camera, you wouldn't even. Is that Taye Diggs? But again, I'm trying to sell an image. I don't want people, if people think I'm rich, they're going to ask me for money, and people know I'm famous, they're going to be like, take a selfie. And I try to live like one of the people. I try. But then when you do like at Chipotle, right, I'm like, double protein. Oh, someone's rich. I was so broke at one point. Adam Ray. What's up, Adam Ray? Playing a huge show right now, Dr. Phil Live, crushing. But I was so fucking broke, and there was a Chipotle right across from the one up next to Pink's. We used to live across the street. And I came home from work one day, and I was like, man, I really did so good today. I deserve the best in life. I went to Chipotle, and I got double meat, and I got guacamole. That's like big spending for me at the time. And I remember walking into the apartment, and Adam had a bunch of his comedian buddies over, and my elbows and my knees were just bleeding, and I had shit all over me, and I just walked in the door, and I was like, and they're like, oh, I'm a comedian, I tell jokes, and I walk in, covered in beans and fucking, you heard my order. I'm like, my guacamole. I didn't have my car at the time, so I walked across the street, and right as a fucking bike messenger literally just goes, ah! and my burrito just, and I fly into the gutter. I skin, elbows and knees, and I just watch my burrito just spray paint the sidewalk across Melrose and La Brea, and I go back inside. I'm like, do you remember me? So they're like, okay. I'm like covered in blood, and the guy goes, I'm gonna have to charge you for the guacamole this time. So I didn't get guacamole. And so I walk in this room, I'm covered in like cheese and sauce and beans, and they're like, hey Scott. I'm like, my guacamole's on Melrose. My guacamole's on Melrose. You got to aim bigger in life, guys. That's another lesson I'm going to give you. Don't sell fake versions of yourself to accommodate everyone else's needs, because I have needs too. And aim higher than a side of guacamole at Chipotle, because some fucking asshole on a bike could just knock it off right in front of you. And again, I was more concerned with my burrito that I waited all day instead of all the blood I was losing. Priorities, everyone. Are there any other murders I can talk about? What time is it? Is there time left? How much? We have 5 minutes? What can we talk about for 5 minutes? My hair is a little long. We have 10? We could talk about how I'm gonna do kind of a medical thing episode. I got some information about a friend of ours that passed away, and it was really upsetting. It seemed to be just kind of a real sloppy hospital error, which is so upsetting. But Courtney, who announced her pregnancy on this show live, she was telling me that she had this fucking crazy thing in the hospital too. A friend of the show, Susie, had some crazy septic story too, and it's like, God, like, shit can just happen. It reminded me of when my appendix ruptured and I almost died, and that was really stupid. Man, we'll talk about that, because that was a real weird story about how fucking stupid and crazy I am. I thought I had bad pad thai. I thought I had food poisoning, and I'm a weirdo. Like, if I don't feel good, I'm like, just go fucking throw up. I don't care about throwing up. Boo-hoo. Just get it over with, right? So I kept trying to throw up, and a couple days went by. Finally, like 4 days later, I was like, okay. Now, I didn't have insurance at the time. I didn't have my car at the time. And I was like, I have to make sure I'm going to die if I go to the hospital, because otherwise I'm going to be slapped with like $30,000. It was actually $37,000, if we're being specific, dollars. And so I remember being slumped over. It was about 5 a.m. Had a kind of party roommate at the time, and blackout drunk. And I was just like hunched over, and I go, I'm not throwing up. I'm not throwing up out of my butthole either. So it's not food poisoning. I knew something was, and I go, I remember my mom when I was little too, she was like, two things are gonna kill you. Cigarettes was never one of them. She's like, diabetes or appendicitis. And then she taught me this like old wives' tale from like third world countries that she thought was real, where if you lay down on your back and lift up your right leg, if you feel, she would say like a rubber band pulling, it means your appendix is. So I just was like, oh my God. So I like lay down on the floor, and I was like, he's like, it's not a time to be doing Pilates. You're sick. But I was like, I have to go to the hospital. I don't know what else to do. He was fucking blackout drunk. I didn't even have a bank account at that time. So I didn't have Uber, because you have to have a debit card. I had like a prepaid. I had to take the bus at 2 a.m. to one of those check cashing places, and they charge you $10 a month just to have the plastic card. And then they charge you to cash your paycheck. Then they charge you to load the cash onto the card. So I couldn't get an Uber. I had no ride. And I'm one of those people that's like, well, I don't want to bother anyone, so I'm not going to call. So I walked myself to Cedars-Sinai. Over an hour and a half, I walked with what I thought was death. And again, I'm one of those, don't tell people, people don't want to hear the truth. So I walk into Cedars-Sinai. I remember taking a picture. It was on a Friday. I just took a picture of the Cedars-Sinai sign, and I was like, happy Friday. It's all I posted. Because I didn't. So I'm like, hi, I think I'm dying. And she's like, oh, honey, we're all dying. I'm like, no, I think I'm dying. How are you? Why did the chicken cross the road? They didn't believe me. So like 2 hours went by. I go, I promise you, don't you have like a scanner? Can you scan me? Can you like should I go buy some guacamole and skin my blood so take a test of my blood? So finally they're like, you would be in really bad pain. I'm like, look, I've had 3 brain infections from bad dental crap. I know all about this shit. Like, I'm a tough dude. Let's go. So they're like, fine, we'll take a test. I remember calling my boss at the time. I was like, I think I'm going to come in. Maybe it's just like a fever or something. So they did that tube. What's that tube? The scanner. Call in. What's it called? A CT scan. Thanks. And then they go, yep. There's like this animated short back in the day, Roger Rabbit. And there's one where he goes to the hospital and like he's in the bed and his feet are like that. And just they're rushing him so fast that all the doors are just slamming like that.
Listen, what are you doing? You guys are making a big mistake. You don't know who I am.
That was me. They're like, you're rushed. My appendix had ruptured and I was septic and dying. So I was like, I guess I'm not coming to work. So they rushed me into surgery to the top of the list and they're like, okay, here you go. Put on the robe. And I'm like, all right. And I lay down. She's like, okay, they have the chainsaws and the fucking knives and all that shit. And she's like, you gotta take off your underwear. And I was like, yeah, you gotta fucking watch your mouth, bitch. I'm like, underwear? Why? Because I was wearing like, the robe with the thing. She's like, take off your underwear. You're going into surgery. I'm like, is it a Diddy sex party? Do I have to have surgery naked? She's like, take your pants off. You're dying. I'm like, I'm probably going to die whether or not my underwear's on or not. Why? And this is an ER doctor at Cedars-Sinai. This is where all the famous people die. He goes like this. You get up, you march into that bathroom, you take off your underwear and you sit your ass down. Oh my God. So I stubbornly pull off my underwear. And then they did the appendix surgery and then they ripped my bladder apart with the cameras, so they did a simultaneous surgery on me, so I had to stay in the hospital for a whole week. The point of the story is, don't be irresponsible. Make sure you have a bank account. Make sure you're not so fucking ghetto that you don't even have a fucking Uber account. And if you're genuinely dying, maybe ask for help. Weird. We're weird. I'm not the only weird one too. I know everybody kind of like, it's mostly people who have like children and like loved ones and responsibilities. I'm just this loner that has nothing else but myself and I can't even fucking do that. Is this the amnesia button? Who am I? Where am I? Thank God I don't remember. Yeah, so we're going to talk about hospital stories. That was such a weird thing. And I remember I had these like tanks. I had to go home, this big hose, like a fucking garden hose coming out of my belly button. And then there was a catheter. That was something too. We'll talk. This is a longer story than 5 minutes. I remember waking up. I remember standing up to go pee. And I remember just the loudest scream anyone's ever heard because I stepped on the hose of my catheter that I did not know was inside me because they did the surgery while I was asleep. So I was like, well, I'm alive. I'm going to go watch some Paula Abdul videos now. Let me go pee first. Because I stepped on the tube and I don't know if so when all these lawyers came in, I'm like, why are there lawyers here? And that's when they're like, how are you feeling? Check the blood, check the things, check the tubes. I'm like, what's a catheter? Because I've only heard the word catheter in those daytime commercials with the old people. And it's like, I get my catheters in brown paper packaging so no one knows what they are. And they come pre-lubricated. So I was like, what is a catheter? I'm not that old. And they're like, well, it's like they put it up your dick or your vagina, whatever you have. And it's like a balloon and it like blows up to hold your bladder mandatorily open so that the pee can just like dribble down like water on the side of a building down the tube into this bucket. You have to drain your pee. And then because of the botched surgery, this other big hose coming out. And that was more of like, that was bloody pee there. And then the other tank was like, if you microwave strawberry jam for like 20 seconds, so it's just slightly watery, that came out of that tube. And then, of course, No Doubt announces they're doing a tour that summer. So I Brandon, we'll talk. One of my best friends, big No Doubt guy. That's how we met. I had a lot of struggles going through airport security with giant bags of strawberry microwave jelly coming out of my ass and bloody pee coming out of my dick. And you think I didn't go mosh like a fucking lunatic at that No Doubt show with my bags of piss and blood? You'd be sadly mistaken. Brandon can confirm it. And in fact, and he was with his girlfriend at the time who I did not like. She was a nut job. But I remember we were in a hotel. They had one bed. I had mine. I'm a famous insomniac. I couldn't really sleep. I just remember I woke up and my whole bed was soaking wet. And I was like, I might get hot. I jump a lot. But like my bags were empty. Don't go mosh pitting in the mosh pit at No Doubt with giant bags of fluids from your recent surgeries. My bags drained into the and I just was like, and I just put blankets over. And I remember maybe like 2 months later, I texted Brandon. I'm like, hey, I have a question. Did you get like a cleaning bill from the hotel? He's like, no, why? I'm like, no reason at all. Whatever housekeeping crew came in there that day. Maybe I'll buy you a cheap of $5.99 roses at Ralph's and keep the price tag on for you too, baby. All right, I'm gonna go. I have to figure out what to eat. What if Paula Abdul's at Chipotle? Guys, see you next week. And I'm gonna record ya. So, Paula, when did you win your first Grammy? How did you know I won a Grammy? Are you my stalker? You ran on stage that time, didn't you? You smelled my hair and lingered. God. What if she remembers me smelling her hair? What if she did and that's why she made me the lemonade? See, growing up, wisdom. You can look back at life and go, maybe she was into me. It's not work. I was trying to see if I could like recline out of camera. The answer is no. It's not going to work, guys. We'll see ya. What an asshole.